Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes Soling the Stalker. We are with Dark Phantom, our Stalker, that we are about 2.5 million XP from level 50 on, and when we get to level 50, we will finish whatever story arc we're on, and that will be the end of this character's time as our character, and we will start a new character, probably a Sentinel. Before we go into anything, I'm going to be talking a little bit about why you haven't seen probably like 8 or 9 beads worth of XP, both this level and the previous level. But before I do that, I just want to point out that the contact store where they have they do sell the inspirations. That used to be the only place you could buy inspirations, guys. The hospitals didn't sell them. At one point, the arena sold them. I don't know if they still do. You certainly couldn't put anything in your base. There was the inspiration like thing that you could store in the base where you could store existing inspirations, but shops and stuff you couldn't. And originally, when you did a contact, it only had, I think it was, what was it, catch breath, heal, and rage or something. It only had a couple of them. And then to get all the other ones unlocked, these 5 main ones, there were 3 that they would have, and then there were 2 more, and one of them was luck that you had to unlock by doing enough missions for the contact to become friends with them. And then once you were their friend, they would offer you more inspirations. And it used to be that you had to go to your contacts that you had a relationship with to get your inspirations before going into a mission if you needed to reload. I just thought of that because I just reloaded Lux from Tina McIntyre, because for some reason I've been using Lux a little bit and they're just not dropping, and this whole column has been empty. We're doing a story arc for Maria Jenkins where we're dealing with the Praetorians and we have to fight Battle Maidens, so I wanted to make sure we're loaded up on inspirations. Um, but guys, I've just had a couple of really frustrating episodes that I've shot. So let me explain. I shot a couple of episodes. One of them was, I think I have one rant right before this where I was ranting a little bit about my students, but there was another one before that where I was ranting in a way that I just did not want to post that particular one, so I deleted it. There was also one where I just rambled and I didn't think it was something you guys would want to listen to, and so I deleted that. But then the last 2 episodes, actually both of the episodes, I talked about what my Deadlands group has been doing, and I'm not going to be repeating that. I'll summarize it, but I'm not going to be repeating it. The first one, I gave a really great summary of what happened in the last session, which was 2 days ago. Today's Monday. It was last Saturday, and they fought the Devil Bulls, and it was pretty cool. And I did that, and it was fine. And then I got up from the computer to do something, and when I came back to the computer, I picked up my headphones, and either I had muted them by accident, or maybe I muted them on purpose, but the mute button is on my headphone, on my left headphone on the back of it. I must have, when I took it off, I must have picked it up. This guy is just going to go forever, right? I must have grabbed it and pressed it there, and so I muted it, and I came back and I didn't realize it was muted, and I did the entire rest of the episode, which is probably more than half of it, on mute, so you couldn't hear anything I was saying, and it was just me silently doing combat. And so I had to delete that one. And then I said, okay, well, let's redo it. And I don't know what happened. I usually check it, but I must have, when I picked it up, pressed the mute button again. The entire episode was muted, and I realized it because I had to, I can't remember, I was going to sneeze or cough, and I went to click the mute button, and it was already down. And so I realized, oh, this whole episode, I'd done about 45 or 50 minutes of talking about cool stuff, and it's just gone. And, I can, tell you it again, but, the nature of these things is, if I do a bad one, it's not so bad. But if I do an episode where I think I did a pretty good job, it's impossible to replicate that job. and any attempt to do so is going to make it bad rather than good. Sort of like a few times in my writing history, this guy ran away, never came back. Here he is. A few times in my writing history of writing fiction, I have written, using the computer. I have written a really cool scene. Often it's something I didn't expect. I didn't predict. What my best friend and I, when we were writing it, we would call it deviating. Right? You have a plot, you think you know what's going to happen, then all of a sudden some new inspiration hits, and you just go with it. And it was the coolest, scene you could have possibly written. And I definitely remember one time when that happened to me, and my hard drive crashed. I didn't realize, so I had saved it, and I went to bed, and when I got up in the morning, it was gone. Just gone. And so I had to rewrite it. And the scene that from memory, I tried to rewrite it. I never could get it to be as good. Right? It was a decent scene, but it wasn't the same. Some of the dynamic of the characters talking and arguing, it was supposed to be one of these sort of Council of Elrond type councils that initially it was just supposed to be fairly peaceful. The leader of this resistance against the evil Empress was going to be explaining what they had to do and what the quest was going to be and why they had to go on it and who had to go on it. And it was going to be fairly tame in the plot. Right? It was supposed to be fairly short scene. She was just going to explain what happens, and now the main character's got to go on this quest, right? And they already kind of knew what was going on anyway, so it was just, let's make sure everybody knows everything they're doing and why we're doing it, and that'll be it. And when I sat down to write the scene, I decided that the one, the co-commander, was hostile toward the hero or the heroine, and the way it came out, there was this huge argument, and they started really sort of fighting, not physical fighting, but fighting with each other, argue with each other a lot, and it was really cool. And then when I tried to do it again, I knew they were going to argue. I knew some of what they had argued, but I couldn't remember the exact sequence of how the argument started. And in the final version of it, it's okay, but it does feel a little forced, and that's because I was trying to force it to go the way it had gone when I was doing it spontaneously. And the same thing with this. If I try to recapture what I'm doing, what I was saying in the previous episode that was all silent because of the mute button, I won't be successful at it, and any attempt to do so will probably make it not as good. So I'm not going to do that. I will quickly summarize what happened with my Deadlands group, but I'm not going to go into it in detail because these guys are cowards. Because I don't think I can recapture it. So my Deadlands group, as you know, was on tap to be attacked by the Devil Bulls. They were attacked by the Devil Bulls. We did about 4 rounds, and it's sort of a stalemate right now. The Bulls did some damage. The players were able to protect themselves with a barrier briefly and heal the damage. They're sitting there without very many power points left, but the session ended, and when the next session starts, we're all going to refresh the bennies so they can use bennies to gain power points. And they have conviction, and they'll be able to use the bennies to re-up the conviction. So we'll see what happens. My best friend, I think, has hit on what he thinks he needs to do, which is to use ghost bullets. Those do 6 armor piercing. That might be enough with conviction and good rolls to start doing some damage to the bulls. So far, as of 4 rounds, nobody has taken any wounds that have lasted. They've taken them, but those wounds have been soaked or healed. And so right now it's kind of at a stalemate, and because we're getting the bennies refreshed, the battle is going to be kind of almost rebooted. It's just kind of a shame, but the mom of the little girl, we got to the end of, after about an hour or so of the battle, she said, I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to go. I got to put my little girl to bed. And so we could have gone on without her, but everybody else probably was going to have to go soon too, so we just stopped and said we'll continue this battle next session. So sometime in a couple of weeks, I will find out how they're going to do. And I don't know if they're going to survive. We'll see. I did warn them at the end that this is the battle, that one of the scripted battles in Deadlands that has a habit of wiping parties. And so they're aware of it. And they seem appropriately worried about it. So, have I already been this way? I have, haven't I? Yeah, I just didn't get the ending. This is why I like to go all the way to the end, so it draws out the map, and then I remember where I was. So we had fun, and they didn't do what I thought they were going to do, which was speed on round one. Everybody goes twice a turn, and then the guy who does speed, who's the weird scientist, also immediately as their second act, which they can now do without penalty because of speed, casts AoE puppet and puppets all four bulls and tells them to attack each other or not to attack us or something like that. And so they didn't do that. He did try to puppet one of them toward the end, but it resisted. So I don't know what's going to happen with that in the future, but I do have a consensus from the various Savage Worlds, like Deadlands GMs, of how this should work. That the bulls can attack each other because without getting a special resistance roll to like resist it, because they're not actually harming an ally because they can't hurt each other. Only the player characters can hurt them, and so the bulls could be ordered to attack each other, but they can't do anything to each other. So now the problem comes, okay, but if they're just attacking each other and the players are pounding on them in the back while they're stabbing at each other with their horns, isn't that going to be a boring battle? And it would be, but as the GMs pointed out, if you, through inaction, are caused harm, you get a spirit roll to break out of it. And it's not opposed, so they can't cheese it by doing a really high spirit roll. It's just a basic spirit roll, which the bulls should be able to do. And so yeah, if they tell them to stand still, or if they tell them to attack each other, and then the party attacks the bulls being attacked will get a chance to resist. That was the consensus. Makes sense. It works for me. So I don't know what good puppeting is going to do. Right? It could potentially give them a breather, forcing the bulls to stab at each other while the party takes time to heal. But I don't think it could do anything like win the battle for them, because the battle will continue until the bulls kill them or they kill the bulls. And I don't think the bulls will stand there and just let themselves be pounded on. So, you could get them to stop for a second, but as soon as you start attacking them, they're going to turn around and attack you back. Right? And that breaks the puppet. Now, you could re-puppet them and stuff, but there's a limit to how many power points these guys have to spend. Right, there's Battle Maiden. So anyway, that's a very quick summary of where we are in my Deadlands game, which I did a probably 20 or 30 minute really fun recap of, but I don't feel like doing that again, guys. Not after I've done it twice, both times with the mute button on, because I'm an idiot. So, the other thing I do want to mention, I don't know, it's now 9 o'clock, it's unlikely she's going to call me, but I did call my sister. I got my brother-in-law, and he said she might call me back tonight. If she does, I will have to stop because I need to talk to her about something, and so I don't know. I don't expect her to call this late. It's 9 o'clock already, but she might. So if she does, then I will pause the video here, and hopefully she won't call me while I'm fighting Battle Maiden, because then we'll die. I might mute it, turn the phone on, and talk to her while I'm fighting Battle Maiden, if that happens, but hopefully it won't. Alright, so we go to Overload. Let's go into Hasten. Might as well. Build up. Assassin Strike. Battle Maiden's not super tough. Should be fine. She's a +3 elite boss, however, so we want to make sure we're doing the best we can. Placate. And then Assassin Strike. There we go. We got about halfway. Look at that, double crits, that's good. So I want to mention something. So this is now probably going to be a couple of weeks ago, as of the timing of this video coming out. I think it's season 4, episode 11 or 12. The video where I talked about slotting, and so somebody was talking about, and so one person said what he does, or she does, is they take Shadow Punch early, but at level 27 they respec out of it and replace it with Midnight Grasp. That's a totally valid thing to do if you want to do respecking. I don't like to respec characters just because it's kind of a hassle to me, so I'm not a fan for myself, of respecking. Whether other people want to do it, that's up to them. And by the way, hopefully you guys have seen these sets, but if not, we'll talk about them a little bit. But I just want to mention, so I would ultimately take Shadow Punch again anyway, so I wouldn't do something like that. Like, if I know I'm going to end up with Shadow Punch, I may as well take it. I was debating actually taking it up here because it recharges faster than Smite. Between Smite and Shadow Maul, those both took a long time to recharge, and then the Assassin Strike, so it probably would have been better actually to take Shadow Punch a little earlier, but I wanted to do a little bit more damage with the Smite, and I thought I could get the recharge going on it enough that it would work, and I guess it did. But I would never respec out of a power that I know I'm going to take again. Now, if the person doesn't take Shadow Punch again and leaves it off the build, that's fine, and then I can see respecking out of it. But to me, if I'm going to take a power and then respec out of it and then take it again later so that I can min-max getting slots on Midnight Grasp or something, I'm not going to do that. Doesn't mean it's wrong to do, but that's just, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I don't see any reason not to take Shadow Punch at this point. If we look at this character, I've already taken a power that I don't want because I don't have any other powers that I'm interested in. So if I didn't have Shadow Punch, what else would I take? If I'm going to take it and it's an attack power, I might as well slot it. Might as well 6-slot it, might as well get a set on it. That's my feeling. Now, somebody else might say, well, you could 6-slot Hasten and just leave Shadow Punch bare and never use it, take it off your hotbar. You could do that too. Look, there's a lot of ways to do slotting in a character, and no way is better than any other way. The way that's good for you is the way that's good for you, right? Like, that's the way you should do it. In case I haven't actually shown this before, because I might not have, the last couple levels I have added some slots and some sets. We now have Shadow Punch, speaking of which, now has Crushing Impact on it. Got Obliterate on Shadow Maul. I think I might have shown that already, but we now also have Luck of the Gambler on Kinetic Shield. That is the reason why we have so few influence. I was down to 8 million at one point. It costs about 30 million influence to get, build, and slot that set. So I will not be getting that set on Power Shield because I'm not going to spend, even though I have it on Silver Phoenix, I'm not going to spend another 30 million. That's absurd, especially since if we're only going to have the set as a little ending for the character, since I'm not going to be playing the character that much once we get the final slot on here. So I have some Red Fortune. I'm probably going to just get a couple more Red Fortune from the auction house, and then we'll just finish this out. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the other slots. Probably put them in Laser Beam Eyes and just do get some damage with it. That'd be my guess what I'm going to do, or I could put them in Overload. But I don't really need an Overload. Overload's fine. I really don't find myself very frequently having to wait for Overload to recharge so that I can attack a boss. They just don't come up that often. So anyway, that's the slotting. Make sure that I've got that in so you guys have seen that. And we will do the final level 50 slotting, but we won't use it because unless there's maybe a couple missions left in a story arc or something. Because there's only a few beads left. We have 4 beads left. So that's maybe 2 episodes. And maybe 1 beyond that, and that's going to be it. So I don't actually need to get the last set if I don't want to. So I'm certainly not going to spend 30 million on a set that I'm then never going to use with this character. Really, Luck of the Gambler, we didn't need either. Again, just for these last two sets, we don't need it. But I wanted to show you guys how this character works with sets, and thus we are on +3 missions and doing just fine against +3s and +4s. Actually, guys, have we been fighting a lot of +4s? I guess we have, because we fought purple minions. So I was thinking, like, the elite bosses have all been +3. So I thought, have I been fighting +4s? But I think I have, because the +4 minions are purple and the +3 minions are red, right? Because +1 is yellow, +2 is orange, +3 is red, +4 is purple. So we have fought purple minions, so... Oh, that fire is not just a visual effect. Oh, this thing. These guys. Okay. They see through my hide as well? It's really interesting. There are quite a few high-level mobs that seem to see through hide. Because the Knives of Artemis do. These guys do. And I can't remember, there was somebody else that I was fighting in the accidentally muted episodes. I can't remember which faction I was fighting. And these guys are hitting me like crazy. What's going on here? Oh, you guys missed it. I also face planted against the two Knives of Artemis Lieutenant. I'm an idiot. So this falls into the, Scrapperlock being careless type of faceplant. No, he shadow mauled me back, huh? That's not allowed. So I was fighting, they're called, what are they, Blades of Artemis or something? And they're lieutenants. So is he seeing me? He doesn't see me. Weird. I thought the other guys did. Maybe the minions do and the lieutenants don't. Anyway, so my Knives of Artemis can see you, so I didn't even have my hide on, because I usually take it off when I fight them too, so that I don't think that I'm hidden, because if I'm in hide, then I think I'm hidden, even though I know the Knives of Artemis can see me, right? It's just automatic, like, knee-jerk reaction, right? So I wasn't in hide, and I go up and I fight this Knives of Artemis. And what I didn't realize was, I wasn't paying attention, there was a second one that I had somehow aggroed. And the two of them were attacking me. And my hit points are going down and down and down, and I'm hitting the heal and stuff, and I finally finished the one off. And then my hit points are still going down. I'm like, what the heck? Why are my hit points going down? And, oh, there's another one attacking me. Boom, face plant. I had a second face plant. See, these guys see me? So why'd the other guys see me? Weird. I had a second face plant where I was in a mission, and I walked out of the mission. So I was in the mission like this. I finished it. I got mission complete, right? And I can't remember what I was doing. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to just head out of the mission and then pause it, right? And I went and headed out of the mission. I think the character was in overload, so I turned off the toggles, right? And I just left her sitting there. And she was in, like, I don't know, Atlas Park or something. She wasn't in a dangerous place. It wasn't like she was in the Ricky crash site or something. There weren't any high-level mobs. And so I had to use the restroom. I went to the bathroom, came back, and my character was face planted. It's like, do you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, what? What the heck happened? And I realized, so it's a Malta mission for Crimson, because I was trying to get the Worldwide Red arc, which he refuses to give me. I've got him all the way maxed out, and he won't give it to me. And I don't know why, because that's a level 48 to 50 arc. So I'm level 49. He should have been willing to give it to me. So I don't know what happened there. But this was one of these mini arcs where you do 3 or 4 connected missions, and I didn't realize it. So I got out of that mission. I clicked mission complete, went out, turned off all my toggles, let overload finish up, left the room, came back. My character's dead because I'd been ambushed. I don't know what happened to the bad guys. They must have left after I face planted, I guess. I don't know, they despawn, I guess. So, yeah. So that's 2 face plants charged to this character, really charged to me, not the character, because there's nothing to do with the character's abilities and everything to do with my being a moron. So you missed a couple of those, which, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I always assume, since I generally don't face plan unless I'm stupid, uh, I assume you guys enjoy it when I mess up a little bit and you get to see me be stupid. Um, I'd say let me know if you like more that I can give you more of that content, but that wouldn't work, right? If I purposely die, that's not funny. It's funny when I accidentally die. I assume. If you find it funny, which I'm guessing that people do, but, you know, I don't know. Let me know. It is my spring break, and so I was playing a war game today, Traces of War. It was actually quite addictive. I set it up last night, and I was like, at the beginning of it, it's the Russian Eastern Front in Russia in World War II. And at the beginning of it, the Russians get a single attack turn before the actual first turn commences. They cannot move, they can only attack. And so I did that, and I was like, I'll just do that and go to bed. And then I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. Let's see what happens in the actual first turn. And so I played that. I played the one of the Russian phases, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, I played another one of the Russian phases. Then I had the Germans go, right, and it was just like I was curious what was going to happen. So like I got through most of the first turn, and it was way too late. Should have been in bed before, but it's spring break, so I was like, ah. Also, daylight saving time just happened, so 11 o'clock feels like 10 o'clock. So then I got up this morning and I had do a bunch of errands, and then I was done with those around 10, and I was like, okay, before lunch, let me sit down and play a little bit of this game, and I played like another 2 turns. There were 2 scenarios, one that's 4 turn, like shorter scenario, and one that's the 8 turn full campaign, and so I was just doing the shorter one to learn the game. So guess I got done with turn 2 and part of turn 3, and then after lunch, I did some cleaning and errands and stuff, and I got back to it. And then between middle afternoon and dinner time, I finished the game. The Russians lost, although they got pretty close. They did a pretty good job, but the Germans won. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and having a lot of fun with it. Okay, so we have to destroy the portal device, which should be around here. No, there's nothing in here. Oh, it's going to be down the other elevator, right? Yeah, probably. So yeah, I did that yesterday, and oh no, we've been down this elevator. It's the other elevator we gotta go to. Blink. And I was thinking. So I did 2 errands today. I went shopping for groceries, and I cleaned part of my house. Didn't do the whole house, right? And I was thinking, I've done this in the past in spring breaks. I'll do 1 errand a day, and by the end of spring break, I still have errands left to do. Got to do 2 a day, at least. I always remember saying to one of my friends who is no longer at my university, but he was a good friend of mine from grad school, and we happened to have offices next to each other as professors. And I said to him, his name was Dan, and I said to him, Dan, how is it that, and there's some +4s, how is it that I can come into work with a certain amount to do, spend all day working my butt off, and at the end of the day, I have more to do than when I started? Right? It's like I have 1 class worth of papers to grade. I spend all day grading those papers, and I teach 2 classes. The other 2 classes give me papers to grade. So now, after spending all day at work and grading an entire class's worth of papers, I have 2 classes of papers to grade. And I feel that way with errands too. How is it that after doing 2 errands in a day, I have more errands to do now than I had to do before I started? I always remember my mom telling me 2 things when I bought a used car for the first time, and shortly after I bought it, I don't know what went wrong, and I had to go get something replaced. I don't know, brakes replaced or whatever. And my mom helped me pay for it, but I remember her saying to me, "A car is an expense." And she's right. And the other thing she said is there's always something. You always have to pay for something with a car. Um, there's not only is it an expense, but you always have to do something, right? Got to get the oil change, got to get gas, got to get it washed, got to get the spark plug changed, got to get it winterized, whatever. There's always something to do. And when I bought my house, she said the same thing, right? A house is an expense, and there's always going to be something you need to do. Like the house is never done. I bought it brand new. Well, I didn't have to do anything on the construction part of the house, right? Everything physically in the framework of the house was fine because it was brand new. But I still had to buy some furniture. I had to buy some, stuff for the room to go in the rooms, right? And by the time you're done with that, then you're going to have something to repair. And in my, 13 years in this house, I've had to completely replace the HVAC system. The AC went after about 11 years, and they told me, well, you can just replace the AC, but we recommend doing the heater too because it's old as well, and it's fine right now. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's probably going to go in a couple of years. And they said, we'll give you a break on the price. I don't know if they gave me a lot of break, but they said, we'll give you a break on the price if you do both of them. Actually, one of my colleagues at work just came and talked to me the day before spring break because she said, she asked me what happened with mine because she knew I had replaced it and how much it cost because hers went. With mine, they came and checked it. They do a service every 6 months. In fact, I'm getting one of my semi-annual services over the spring break in a couple days. And when the guy serviced it, he said several of the components are going to have to be replaced. We're going to have to do this, that, and the other, and whatever they had to do, he said it was going to cost like $3,500 or something. He said you get a new system for $6,000. So he said, you can do whatever you want, but I recommend. Where are we going here? Goodness. Okay. I remember this. So we have to kind of go to the middle. What is with the fog? What is that command? There's a command to be able to see further. Man, I really can't see anything here. This is... Oh. No, I thought this was one of the little... There are little like... that's where we're going, is straight over that way. You just don't want to go away from the land, because if you do, it'll just teleport you back to the origin. And it's a pain in the neck. I don't remember which one we have to go through here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, one of the things you have to learn... Oh, now, see, we're screwed. And it's going to teleport me back to the origin. One of the things you have to learn is that you have to keep your powers off. No, I don't want to go that way, do I? Alright guys, we're going to switch to the actual flight power, which will let you fly around. So what happens is if you can't fly, if you're doing super jump or something, if you start falling below the plane and you go too far below it, it will just teleport you back. This is super aggravating. I actually hate this zone. Like, literal hate. I don't like this zone. The Shadow Shard or whatever it is. Now I have to figure out how to get in here. There's only one way in, I think. So anyway, yeah, so I had to get the HVAC fixed on my house. It was $10,000 or something. I've had to have my roof replaced because of a sleet storm that damaged the roof. Uh, I've had to have my hot water heater replaced. That was one of the first things that went. I've had to have some plumbing leaks fixed. I've spent many, many $1,000s on this house. And, um, yeah, it's an expense. So, and I guess it's true with anything that's valuable, anything that's significant, you gotta pay a little bit, maintain it, and you also have to, in addition to paying, you have to actually do the work. So yes, I've had to pay for repairs and updates and things like that, but I've also had to spend time doing stuff. What? Who is this? Master Shadow, okay. We're gonna placate you. You know, I just realized. Whoa! Man, this guy's hitting me like crazy. I just realized they don't have the greatest negative energy defense in the world because even though my character does negative, wow, does he ever miss? Even though my character does negative, the the defense. I'm not a dark. I'm gonna die. Wow. What the heck were his hit rolls? Look at this. He had 8% chance to hit me, and he hit me repeatedly. Look at this. Yeah, I don't know sometimes with this game. I know I've tried to check it out statistically, but when you've got bosses that have like a 10% chance to hit you and they're rolling ones and twos over and over again, 3 or 4 times in a space of 5 seconds, something seems wrong with that. Like it happens too often. Right? It's not like that's the first time that's ever happened to me in City of Heroes. That's like the 50th time. It's the fourth or fifth time just with this character. So clearly we're going to need overload, but we're also going to probably need, let's see. Let's get rid of the endurance because we don't really need that. We'll grab more heals and then more lux and see how that goes. Well, you guys got the CB faceplant, so there you go. Did we actually, wait a minute. Do we actually have debt? Wow, we do. I think it's the first time I've seen debt on this character. They don't give you that much, so maybe it's been such a small bar I haven't noticed it. Alright guys, I'll pause it when we get back to the boss. I'll bring you back. Alright, we're back. I probably can't use Overload on this guy because we're going to have to fight Black Swan, who's an elite boss. So, we're going to just need to use a couple of Lux and some extra damage and 2 hit. And hope that we can kick this guy's butt. We also do get to assassinate him. Let's slap on Hasten. I can't believe we missed. Like, do you believe this? He's hitting me with 1s and 2s, and I'm missing him with a 95%. I know the game's not cheating, but that sure as hell makes it seem like it is. So what I was trying to say before is because my character does dark melee, right? I had to think for a second to figure out why my negative defense by default is not as high as my other energy defenses, and the reason is that it's energy aura, not dark defense. Okay, we are hidden. We don't really need that, so we'll go and grab that. Grab these guys, do overload. And there we go. Black Swan. She's a +3 boss. Yeah, we know 95% negative defense, so that's good. I should be doing placate here. Let me try to do that. Oh, she's doing an AoE to me, so I can't hide. Against bad guys like this, you've got to keep that hit points up high, because she can do single shots that do like 3/4 or more than 50%, like 60-70% damage. So if you hit her, if she hits you with one and then she catches you with another while Shadow Maul's going or something, then it's just going to cause you to die. We should have her here. Got her. And I'm not staying around any longer. I don't like that dimension. I believe this is a 10-part story arc. We're doing on time. 41 minutes. So let's do one more. Hopefully it won't be a super long one. Part 8. Oh, Penelope is going to help me take down an asylum. Okay, I remember this one. I like Penelope, but I don't really need her help in this one. So we're just going to... Yeah, this is the problem with a Stalker. The newer story arcs always give you these stupid companions that act like really bad teammates. I mentioned this actually on the previous episode that was muted, because we were with the martial arts guy. I can't remember his name, and he was aggroing everything in sight, and I was trying to like assassinate, and he was knocking them away from me and messing me up. And I was saying, you know, this is an example of how Paragon Studios / Cryptic programmed the NPC followers in missions to act like the absolute worst teammate you would ever have in a pickup group. And I've said it before, like they act in a way that if you did that on a pickup group, you would get immediately kicked. The first time you did it, you'd be asked to stop. The second time you insisted on doing it, you'd be kicked. Right, so Penelope's going to just aggro everything in every room. And, yeah. So, we're going to wait here, because we're about to overload. And then we'll move on. She can heal herself. She's actually a pretty cool... She's actually a pretty cool character. I like Penelope in. Right, this is the older version of her, rather than the younger version of her that is at the fault line. Right, so she's like matured and gotten more powerful. I didn't pick up more inspirations. We should be alright though. Cool special effects for her, I will say that. Penelope's cool. I like her character design. If we look at her costume, will she let us, or is she going to follow me around? Yeah, I think it's a cool costume design. I like it. Not sure about the gloves. I feel like the rest of the outfit doesn't go with those gloves. Is that just the one hand? No, it's both hands. Yeah, I feel like the tech gloves, this particular type of tech glove does not go with the rest of that costume. The rest of the costume I'm envious of. It's very cool. Okay, we have all of our stuff on. 4 minutes until our overload comes back, and we've got enough guys to fight until then. Yep, she's going to aggro. Watch. Yeah. So, bad teammates, good teammates. Why can I not hit her? 4 stalkers. Your teammates are supposed to wait until you start your assassination animation before they attack things. Because if they attack things first, then things are going to move out of your radius and you're going to get the out of range error. They're also supposed to wait for you to go back into hide before moving on to the next dang spawn. And the NPCs do neither of those things, which is super aggravating. I was wondering why she was going up and down. I think Penelope was telekinesing her. Yeah, so, I mean, those of us who knew what we were doing in City of Heroes, City of Villains, right? I was not playing a Stalker initially. I was playing a Dominator. And the good Rob was playing a Brute. What's my best friend playing? Was it a Corruptor? I can't remember what his character was. Isn't that something? What the heck was his character? Wasn't a Dominator. Oh, see, she's aggroing. Because I was the Dominator. Not that we had... I mean, of course we had more than one. Yeah, he wasn't the Stalker. Because he never played melee. He always did ranged. He wasn't the Mastermind. He must have been a Corruptor. So, you know, we had a Mastermind in the group. The player of the Mastermind was awesome. And so, yeah, she never like over aggroed and stuff. She did a really good job controlling her pets. Just excellent. Best Mastermind player ever. Including better than me. I will say it right out. Way better than I was. She just was so good with her pets. But she was also a very cooperative player just generally. She was a great defender. She played a great controller. She was just such a great person to play with. Incantation was her main character's name. What an awesome player. Like one of my favorite people in the guild. Not somebody I knew in real life. I only knew her through the guild. I think we need to explore the rest of this floor. Penny, come with me. So I can't remember who was playing the Stalker. But, you know, whoever it was, we were careful enough. And, like, we came up with, okay, how are we going to do this, right? The Stalker needs to be able to assassinate, right? And we talked about the most effective way to do it. And the good Rob, who was a great tactician, was like, okay, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to let the Stalker go in there because they can't. Once we had confirmed that they absolutely could not aggro to the Stalker, we didn't encounter any mobs that could see through Stalker hide at that point. We let the Stalker get in position, right? And then when the Stalker was ready, they would say ready, and then they would do the animation, and we would watch for the animation, and as the animation was about to hit, then the Brute would start, and the Mastermind's pets would start, and that would aggro things. I know there's more to this map. Over here, somewhere. Here, yeah. That's what I want. There could be glowies here, that's why I'm just checking. Oh, I guess not. We just had to defeat Malaise and Mother Mayhem. So yeah, I mean, we made sure to not to aggro to the degree that the Stalker's assassination got interrupted. Now, it's harder to interrupt that assassination now, but I still don't want somebody starting a fight before I have gotten things going. What are you doing? Who is she fighting? Did I miss somebody? Where are you, Penelope? Oh, I walked right past this room. Fortunately, unlike most NPCs, Penelope's actually pretty competent on her own. Her little pet is a good help to her, too. I don't want to go in there. Get out of the way, Penelope. You see, this is why we hate follower NPCs. Where am I going? I'm going back this way. This is the same map as the office, but with all this crap strewn around, it's so much easier for me to get lost in. because you can't walk in straight lines. And I can't remember where I'm going. It all looks totally different when it's not the office map, which is actually pretty clever of them. I'm not worried about Penelope because when we go up the elevator, she'll just teleport over and follow us. So yeah, a good team with a Stalker on it lets the Stalker get set and click this button. And in the amount of time it takes you to animate that, they start the attack. If they know what they're doing, they can time it really right, really well, and you have no problem, and it's awesome. And the Stalker gets a good head start on the boss, maybe even takes him out, while the rest of you guys are taking out the rest of the group. Works great. Bad groups just go in and start smashing, pounding, fighting. And there's Malaise. Okay, yep, see, she's bad. That's not what you should be doing. She should not be starting a battle like that. She should have given me a chance. Look at this. She should have given me a chance to get myself set and ready to go. So that is bad, right? That is bad play. You don't do that. You don't just walk past the door and start attacking an elite boss. You make sure everybody's set. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. You don't just do it. Now, you know, sometimes you get jumped by a spawn when you didn't expect it. That's fine, but that's not what happened here. What happened here is Malaise is over there, and she just said, I'm going to start aggroing him. That's bad play. If you're on my pickup group, I would say don't do that. If you do it again, I would leave the group. I don't kick people, but I'd probably say, guys, I have to go, and I would leave the group. Because I'm not playing with somebody who does that crap. Like, that's just nonsense. You should know better than that. Now, you know, if you're a new player, that's different. But this is not a new player. This is something programmed by the devs. She shouldn't be doing that. She's literally doing what would get her kicked from a team. I think I've told this story before. I remember saying to my friends when I was a scrapper in City of Heroes, and I had no ability to really draw aggro if you took aggro away from me. Right? And I would target a boss, and these idiot blasters and defenders who thought they were helping me would target the same boss and start knocking him all over the battlefield. And now I have to chase him around. Right? And it was very frustrating. And so they would draw aggro for me. So I'm over here, I start punching this thing. They start aggroing it. You see what she did now? This Seeker is attacking her. And as a Stalker or a Scrapper, I don't have any way to draw that aggro other than doing damage myself. Right? And if you've got blasters with their powers 6x damage enhanced, which is what they were doing back then with you know, perma haste, they were doing that kind of junk. I wasn't doing that with my Scrapper. I was putting slots on my defenses and stuff. This is when we were in like the teens and the 20s. What I said to them was, look, I posted on my forum, if you draw aggro away from me, I assume you want it, and I will let you have it and move on to the next mob. I'll just hit tab and attack the next mob. And they were like, you're so mean. And I'm like, it's not mean. It's that you're completely destroying my effectiveness by taking the mobs I'm on and pulling them away from me so that I have to chase them around. And now I have to run around and try to chase them around to protect you. And that's not effective. That's an ineffective way to be a team. Right? When I attack, and they said, we assumed we were helping you. I said, I don't need help. It's a boss. What's she fighting now? What are you fighting? Penelope, what are you attacking? You see she can't figure out how to get up here? I want to fight Mother Mayhem. Come on over here. Alright, so we'll do overload on her. So yeah, I tried to explain to them, guys, I don't need your help. So one of the things that they didn't understand was, did Penelope just go? Oh, I thought she went off the balcony. Did she go down there? I was like, did she just go down there and aggro everything downstairs? Like, if she did, she can. That's what I mean, right? You go down there and you start aggroing the stuff downstairs while I'm fighting Mother Mayhem, you can have the aggro. I'm not going to help you with that until Mother Mayhem is dead, because if I move, she's going to kill me and you, right? But one of the things that they didn't understand was, as scrappers, we were boss killers, so they needed help to defeat bosses back then at that level, and I didn't. And they didn't understand that, so they thought they were helping me, but they really weren't. At any rate, we're now 3 beads from the end of this level, and we will be probably finishing that up in the next couple of episodes, guys. So I'm going to be starting to think about what kind of a sentinel we're going to make. I don't know how much of it we're going to show. I don't know that I'm going to do every single bit of the character the way I did with this character, because this character I was making a point. I was asked, can you solo a character like this without sets in the 20s and 30s and 40s? Yes, you can. I've shown it. And we did a pretty good job. These characters make great solo characters. Yeah, I faceplant occasionally, but I would venture to say I would have faceplanted with any character almost every time I faceplanted with this one, because it mostly comes from me not paying attention or being overconfident or whatever. So, anyway, I think we're going to leave it there. I do want to make a point. I got so frustrated with my muted microphone that I had been working on the Ouroboros badge, the day job badge for Ouroboros chronologist, right? And I'd forgotten there's one for Portal Corp. You don't get the beginning of the badge until you log out in the area. So there are other day jobs I don't have yet, but I forgot there was one here. So I was so frustrated, I just logged out in the middle of Portal Corp, and I was like, just forget it. I don't want to play COH anymore tonight. It wasn't City of Heroes' fault. It was my fault for the mute button. But when I logged back in, I realized, oh, that's right. There's a badge for Portal Corp, and I've actually got a few hours onto it. So I'm going to stay here, and I'll get this badge too, since we're here now. But anyway, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comment section. If you have some things you want to see me do, particularly with the Sentinel, then let me know. In terms of the build, I am going to have a much weaker feel for how I want to build or what I want to do with a Sentinel than I have for a Scrapper, a Brute, or a Stalker, because I've only played a Sentinel to like the low 20s and never higher than that. I'm probably going to think about it logically like a Scrapper or a Brute or a Stalker, because they have an offensive primary, although it's ranged, and a defensive secondary, although it's not as strong as a Scrappers or a Stalkers. I don't know which powers I'm going to take yet. I was looking at them the other day. I figured it's safe now. I know we'll finish this character, and I know that we're going to be moving on. And I didn't want to look at one when I was like 30th level, because it would make me want to jump tunes. But this one we'll finish. We only have 3 beads left, so it's no problem. It's not a danger. But there was a bunch of them that I was looking at going, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. It's sort of the Christmas present problem in COH. Like, everything is a cool present that you want to open first, right? Almost all the powers are ones I'm like, oh, I could do that. Oh, that would be fun. Oh, that would be fun. That one probably looks really cool. Oh, I like the visual effects of that. Yeah, I don't know. So think about it. Feel free to put your ideas down below. Although there's a better than even chance that by the time you write your comments, I will have already chosen my Sentinel. So I do know that a couple people said they wanted to see Sentinel, but I don't know if anybody's told me which power sets they want to see yet. So in the off chance that I haven't actually started it yet, go ahead and drop your comments down below, and we'll see. Until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes, soloing the Stalker.